Without the strategy, we can't execute. And now the real world comparison is, yes, the best traders in the world making millions, they still take losses. And this is where psychology comes into play. If your psychology is great, you taking a loss, it's not going to massively affect you because you are going to know that in your risk management, you was okay with taking that loss. Most traders obsess over strategies, but which matters more? In today's episode, we are going to be discussing trading psychology versus trading strategy and what matters more. So first things first, the role of the strategy. What is the role of your strategy? What part is this playing to your trading success? First things first, this is how you are going to determine your entry and your exit model as a trader. We could then talk about your trading plan, which in your trading plan, you should have something like the pairs that you're trading, the time frames you're trading on, the sessions you're trading, what time frames you're entering on. So this can then determine whether you're a scalper, a day trader, or a long-term trader, which we would call a swing trader. You would then have your risk management, i.e. how much you're willing to risk, whether it be in pounds, dollars, whatever it may be for you, or whether it be in percentages. You could even have how many pips you're willing to gain and how many you're willing to lose per trade. There's so much more into a trading plan, but I can go onto that in a whole nother episode. More things in the role of the strategy would be things like backtesting. A lot of people say that backtesting doesn't really matter, but to be honest, I feel like backtesting matters at the start of your trading journey because this is how you are going to test your strategy. And everyone has different strategies, right? We're all different people and we're all trained differently. We're all brought up differently. We all have different habits, different skills, and we're all trading different pairs, different times, and different time zones. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, right? I don't want to confuse you. Stay with me. But your strategy, you could have someone that maybe trades ICT, someone that trades trend lines, someone that trades support and resistance, and someone that trades like me, naked charts, but with loads of confluences. I trade using support and resistance, trend lines, and Fibonacci. And I do look at the candlesticks, but overall, they're my major 4 confluences. And that is where I determine where I'm going to enter the market and where I'm going to exit the market. And that's why backtesting is good. Because whilst you are learning how to make money as a trader, we need to work on the skill set first. The skill set is not just a strategy, it's everything that comes with it. But just for this example, let's talk about the strategy. Now, if you're backtesting, you are collecting this data and you are figuring out how well this strategy is that you are trading. If you are trading a certain way, and every time you're taking losses, you now know that this proven strategy is not working for the system that you are creating. And that is why backtesting is going to benefit you as a trader. Not only is it going to benefit you to help you figure out your strategy, it's going to give you confidence in the markets. If you keep hitting wins, if you keep on taking profit, when you set your stop loss and your take profit, you are going to get confidence. And now when it comes to real-time trading, real life markets, you are going to be more confident because you believe in your strategy. But understand that the best strategy in the world can still fail if not executed properly. And this is where we talk about the mind, right? Because me as the executor, stay with me as the executor in the market, I need to make sure that I am executing properly my strategy. And this is where the role of psychology comes to play. And before I get into the role of psychology, I just want to say, think of it like this. When you learn how to ride a bike, you have that skill. If you haven't rode a bike in maybe 10 years, you might jump on and be a little bit wobbly for the first 2 minutes, but you will remember how to ride the bike. Same with swimming, right? When you know how to do something, you know how to do it. And that's why we learn the strategy, okay? Once you know the strategy, you can make money. Only if you work on up here, your psychology. Now, if you didn't know, psychology is 80% of your trading. And a lot of people don't want to work on their psychology. They just think, do you know what? I just need a strategy. And if this strategy don't work for me, I'll hop onto the next one. Then I'll hop onto another course. And they start buying everyone's courses. And it doesn't work out for them because they now strategy hop. And then they say trading's a scam because they're not making money. When actually, if you stick to one strategy that makes sense for you, it's not too overcomplicated, and you work on your psychology, and you really figure out you as yourself, but also your psychology in trading, you are going to make money in the markets. There's no ifs or buts. I also have a trading psychology course. I will leave the link down below, and this can literally change your life. That's all I'm going to say. You can read more information about it when you click the link down below. Look into it. Honestly, I wish I had something like this at the start, because I'm talking about everything: your trading plan, your risk management, your emotions, the way you should, when you should walk away from the markets, how to deal with yourself when showing up to the charts. I was speaking about the different things that comes with trading, the FOMO, the revenge trading, all of these things that a lot of people don't know until they go through it, and they're in it for 3 to 4 years. If you want to skip all of that and learn from someone that's been through it for 5 years, click the link down below, and I promise you, my gift to you is that I've sat here for weeks and months building this psychology course for someone that truly wants to change their life as a trader. It's not just about buying a quick course and learning a strategy. Your psychology is most important. Anyway, let's continue with the role of psychology. Psychology in trading is things like greed, when you're chasing the money, or when you have profits, you're up in profit, but you're like, I need more. And then what happens? Then price now comes back down, and you either go back into minus, or you're lower than you initially was when you was up. Because you was greedy, you've now missed your chance of making more maximized profits. They're things like greed. FOMO is when you just jump in the market because you have accidentally missed your entry by not setting an alert. And this is where I'm so big on alerts. If you don't set alerts and you miss your entry, you open up the charts and you're like, oh, it's moved already and it's 20 pips away from my entry point. No, you're not chasing the money, you're waiting. Because if you don't wait, you now have that FOMO, and that means you've brought your emotions into trading, which means instead of having a 1-to-3 risk reward ratio, you probably now have a 1-to-1, and you are now minimizing your chances of making profits in the markets. Let's talk about fear. Fear could be you are scared to place the trade. So you're placing really tiny lot sizes when actually, if you have full confidence in yourself and you have full confidence in your strategy, you can place a trade and not be fearful, because you know your risk management. You know that what you was willing to risk is not going to blow your account. You know that you're trading correctly, right? If you know, okay, let's just say an example. If you have a 100k account, right? Your overall drawdown is 10k and your daily drawdown is 5k, right? If you say to yourself, okay, I am willing to risk 1% per trade, right? That is 10 trades of that 100k account. Now, if you lose 10 trades in a row, yes, it could be you chasing the profits, but this could be your strategy, because you shouldn't be losing 10 trades in a row. This is either your strategy or it's you, and you need to work it out, right? First of all. But if you feel like your edge, what you've worked out, your data that you've collected, is not going to be 10 trades and you're making money, then cut it down to 0.5%. That then gives you 20 trades. And this is where obviously your risk management, your trading plan, and everything comes into play. I go more on that in the course. But for example, just make sure that when it comes to risk management, you have everything down and you are sticking to your trading rules. It's really important that you stick to your trading rules, because if not, you are going to minimize your opportunity to be successful. Another example of fear could be that you've never came from money. You're someone that comes from either an average home, or maybe you're broke, and you're scared that you've now put your last $100 into a personal or a prop firm challenge, and you're scared to place a trade because you have no money and you're hoping that this one bit of trading money is going to change your life. That is so bad. And that's not only going to make you fearful, it's going to make you so unhappy, because you're relying on trading to change your life. And yes, it can change your life. Trust me, it can change your life. You can have a great life. You can go on holiday. You can buy yourself stuff. X, Y, and Z. I don't need to go into it, because you know. But if you are scared of making money, there is a problem. And you are blocking your chances of success, not just in trading, but in life. So we need to work on that. If you work on your psychology as a trader and you are consistent with your rules, you have your trading plan in place, and you are following your rules every single day. It may be, I'm willing to risk 1% a day. You've now risked 1% a day, but you see another A-star set up. Are you going to get in that trade? The answer is no, because your trading plan says you're only risking 1% per day. Because that's how people chase the money, and they start taking losses and they revenge trade. They take a loss, they try and make that money back, they take more losses and they try and make that back, and then before they know it, their account is gone. And we don't need to be going through that, because we're trying to be successful in this trading life, right? So just please work on your psychology, because the strategy is always going to be there. The strategy, you know how to trade, right? But you have to control this. This is yourself. And it's not just in trading. I always say to people, yes, your trading psychology is so important, but work on yourself, develop self-development, right? Read some books. It could be on mindfulness, it could be on business, it could be on trading, it could be on marketing, sales, anything. When you're self-developing and you're growing outside of what you already know, you are elevating, which means your trading will elevate with you, because you're now becoming more self-aware. Go to the gym. The gym is going to regulate your negative emotions and make you more positive. You're literally going to go to the gym even when you feel like you can't be bothered. If you can't go to the gym, go for a run. It's free. Do yoga on YouTube at home. There is no excuse. Even right now, I'm doing a 30-day yoga challenge. If you're in the Discord, you will have the links that I'm using to do the 30-day yoga challenge. And I'm also doing a 30-day challenge in general, which again is in the Discord. So you can get involved with that to hold yourself accountable. But just do things to develop yourself. Like write down in your journal, not just trading journal, because trading journal is extremely important. But outside of trading, also journal yourself. Like, how are you feeling? Is there anyone around you that's negative? Are you listening to music that's lowering your vibration? Are you waking up to a really negative alarm? Listen, I love Mads to pieces, but her alarm, crazy. One time funny story, right? One time we stayed in a hotel together. Her alarm went off and I genuinely woke up with anxiety, and all day I could just hear it. I could hear the alarm. So little things like this can really affect your day. Like, obviously, to me, there might be certain things that help me and it's not going to help you, but figure out what makes you feel happy, what's going to make you more positive. Because how you are on your inner world is what will attract your outer world. Essentially then, you showing up to the charts, right? This is then going to make you a better executor, a better trader, and you are going to maximize your profits as a trader. I just want to say one more thing, revenge trading, right? Back onto this note, because I used to revenge trade all the time. A lot of people I see speaking about on Twitter, I'm just going to do a 1-to-1. If you have a 1-to-3 analysis, but then you jump out your trade halfway through because you're scared, that is being fearful, right? But that's also lessening your chances of success. So when you do your top-down analysis on the weekend, make sure that you truly trust your trade, you truly trust that whole analysis you've placed, and let the trade run. If you have to close the app and go for a run and leave your phone at home, do so. And if you take a loss, so what? Boo-hoo, move on. Because you said to yourself, I am willing to risk X amount dollars on this trade. I am willing to risk 0.5%, 30 pips, whatever it may be, right? And if you are scared and you're consistently checking, it may go into -$2 and you're going to take the trade off. And you are now minimizing your chances of being successful. All of these little psychological factors is what's going to build you, not only as a human, but as a great trader. Okay? So please just take the advice, because I've been through it. I've been trading for 5 years now. I even just took a 3-week break because I even blew an account. I'm telling you from my mistakes that I go through, as someone that's made money, someone that's hit target, someone that's had a beautiful life with trading, someone that's gone on holidays, bought a car, bought my home. Everything that I do is trading. Yes, I have other incomes, but trading is what's really given me the income that I wouldn't be able to do certain things with if I had just an average job. So if you want to be like me or like someone else you aspire to be like, do the work. Do the work. Even Jade Cap, right? I'm sure it took him 8 years to become proper profitable in the markets. And now he has withdrew 2 million the other day. If you don't know who Jade Cap is, go over to his Twitter and follow him, because He is great, and he is someone who inspires me because he does the psychology, he does the inner work, he knows where he's gone wrong, and he has a great proven strategy. So just make sure that you are working on yourself, because if not, you're only delaying your success. And I don't care, right? I'm here to help you. If you don't want to take my advice, click off the video. But if you want to be successful, and in a year from now, you want to be like, wow, I'm so glad I worked on my psychology, you're going to be making money, and we're going to be out here together living a great life, because we're all just elevating in this life, right? And now the real world comparison is, yes, the best traders in the world making millions, they still take losses. And this is where psychology comes into play. If your psychology is great, you taking a loss, it's not going to massively affect you, because you are going to know that in your risk management, you was okay with taking that loss. And that's where you have to be intact with your emotions. Even if you go and watch all of these podcasts with successful traders, they will all tell you it's about trading plan, risk, mindset. And in hindsight, this all comes down to psychology. Because when you have the strategy, you have the strategy. So now when I say mindset versus psychology, we need them both, of course, because without the strategy, we can't execute, right? But if you do not have a good mindset, your strategy means nothing. Understand markets are uncertain and you may not win 100% of the time. But if you're self-aware, if you are disciplined in your life, if you're consistent with doing everything you need to do to be a great trader, you will show up to the markets and know whether you're able to just sit on your hands and wait for a better setup, or whether you're going to jump in the trades just for no reason and chase the profits, which essentially is going to make you lose money. So if you want to be profitable, I really suggest you work on your psychology. If this is your first video you're watching of me, go back through my channel, because I have so many beneficial videos, and I'm not just being biased. There genuinely is not really anyone doing psychology on trading, and that is what's so important. A lot of people don't want to speak about it because yes, we live in a male-dominated industry, and what male's going to be like, I'm in touch with my emotions and I'm really confident. No, everyone drives from their ego, and you're not going to drive from your ego. You're going to work on yourself. You're going to develop self. Because when you develop self, you're going to be a bigger and better trader. And this is going to cut down half of your time being wasted by jumping around thinking it's a strategy when the whole time it's you. And just remember, psychology allows you to adapt when the markets change. For example, Trump came in, he made the markets go crazy, but what happens? Us people that work on our psychology, we know that let's just be patient, let's wait, because there's always going to be money to make in the market. We don't need to chase the profits. The markets are not going to shut tomorrow. They're going to be here. We're turning into a whole digital world. Calm down. You don't need to chase the money, okay? Be patient. Trust me, it will pay off. Just think strategy as the vehicle and psychology as the driver. Yes, we need both. But when you know how to drive the car, you're good. You have the car. But it's about all of the thoughts on the way to the journey of where you're going. Making sure you're aware of what's going on the roads, making sure you're conscious to brake if there's a car in front of you. All of these little things, this is how I really want you to see your trading. So yes, essentially you need both, but psychology is going to ultimately control how far you go. Now you have to ask yourself, do you want to be a great trader? Do you want to be successful? Or are you just going to not listen to what I say, and you'll probably give up in a year and say trading's a scam because you are not profitable? So this decision is ultimately yours, but I wish I had a psychology coach when I first started trading, and I didn't. So everything that I wish I had, I'm trying to bring it to you guys. If you want to also see sessions like this, but I also have presentations and stuff, you can ask me questions, you can get more interactive with the community. I do sessions every single Monday at 8 p.m. UK time. So I'll leave the link down below if you want to join that as well. Just ask yourself, what has held you back more? Your system, meaning your strategy, or your mindset, which means your psychology ultimately. Master your mind and the markets will follow. I hope you all have a blessed day. And before I end the video, I will leave this episode with an affirmation. And the affirmation for today's episode is, every single day I work on my psychology, and this allows me to be a better trader. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Take care and stay blessed. Peace.